Hello and welcome to coverage of Grand Prix Atlanta. Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Randy Bueller. Pair of 8-1s?
No, they can't be 8-1. I think Huey lost last round to Nathan Holiday, so he is 9-1. I believe Majlaton is 10-0.
I
think
think he
there's
is too.
three 10-0s. Nathan Holiday got paired against John Esposito. They're both 10-0, and then I believe Majlaton is the one that got paired down against a Hall of Famer who's awesome on top of his game right now and played a turn 2 Phalanx leader.
Right. So
Other than that, though, everything's coming up Alex Majlaton.
Alex plays in a Crowan line breaker on his turn, and it looks like we've got blue-white versus red-white here. Usually these decks are white-based, and then the support colors would be blue or red, but we'll see. There's a Eagle of the Watch for Huey. Huey can't be super stoked to see his opponent on red here, as there's a lot of ways to kill a Phalanx leader in red for one,
Many of them
two,
in
or
his
three
hand. No, it
mana.
survived one turn.
That is the question. I mean, on its own, it's not that great. Yeah, there's a Fall of the Hammer to take it down. Trigger and get in for a big hit here. 5 damage from the Crowan line breaker. Eagle of the Watch does stay alive.
How high do you have Linebreaker in your pick order?
Not very, but
I saw some Magic Online stats that suggested it was one of the better red uncommons.
Okay.
Surprised me a little bit. Because yeah, I'm with you. It doesn't look impressive. I mean, 2-1 for 3, but get some work done.
Meanwhile, Huey's building out his board with a bunch of 2-drops, which is kind of what he does. He's going to get a trigger, pumping up that line breaker to 4 power, give it Intimidate, and of course the Dragon Mantle. It's going to allow him to get in for even more damage if Alex chooses to do so. Linebreaker's doing work on the beatdowns here, but I do feel a little bit like Alex needs to get some defense going, though.
Wow.
I guess just mono Intimidate is one way to go as well. Interesting. He has Huey down to 12. What does Huey's play here? Well, he's got Nyxborn Shieldmate on his Meletis Astronomer, which is going to allow him to find... Oh, he does find something.
Free
Stratus Walk. Yeah, that's nice. He's got the land. Is he going to give his Eagle double flying? No, he's going to send the Astronomer itself to the skies.
More cards.
He's going to be blocking anyway, I suppose.
That one's a swing and a miss. Yeah. Retraction Helix and 2 lands head for the bottom. And then Alcine comes off the top of the deck.
Not bad.
I mean, not bad, but it would have been, the order had been slightly different. Get the Alcids off the Astronomer trigger and then draw the Retraction Helix. That would have been much better.
All right, here's 5 damage there from Huey, and the Vigilance on Eagle of the Watch could be pretty relevant here, as remember a Crowan Linebreaker has to be targeted to get Intimidate.
He could target that one more time, though.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. He'd be looking at, 7 plus fire breathing pumps.
Nope, doesn't have it.
And Majlaton's not even going to risk it in combat. Without a trick, it's so Huey clearly would have to trade there. Alex is not going to give him the option.
And that's the downside of the Linebreaker. We've gotten a good glimpse of the card here. We got to see the upside to it, where it got in for a bunch of extra damage. And the downside now is that it seems to have outworn its welcome a little bit and isn't doing anything.
Well, I mean, Alex still thinks his 3-drop is better than Huey's 3-drop. He's declining the trade. I mean, his is wearing a Dragon Mantle. But I mean, if he draws another targeting effect, he will get through for basically lethal.
Yeah, that's why he's holding it. He's just holding it in case he draws a combat trick and he can get it through. But I mean, that's therein lies the rub, right? He's got to draw a card to make it good. Yeah, I think it's certainly playable. Very aggressive card. It awkwardly makes you use your combat tricks before combat, though, which is a little bit weird in case somebody has a removal spell for it. But in the meantime, Observant Alseid is going to give Huey an extra 2 damage this turn, and also make his Cavalry Pegasus have Vigilance along with the Eagle of the Watch, and Huey just has to sort of sit here and say,
well, he's threatening lethal next turn.
Yeah.
One of us is going to win.
Somebody's going to have it here. The slow peel from Alex Majlaton here.
Any
Does he have
trick
it?
Targeting, any ability to target the Linebreaker wins him the game on the spot. Huey is... Well, I guess with an island, he could, in theory, have a Retraction Helix.
He's got 2 in his deck. He could absolutely have it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, there is no combat trick, So Huey's going to have to figure out how he wants to block here. He makes the obvious blocks.
Trades. Is Huey down below 6 damage?
He's going to take 3.
And he's only got 5, crucially. So he can't actually kill Alex here on the crackback.
Not without some help.
Right. Now it's Huey's turn to win with any combat.
Wow. Who needs combat tricks when you've got Scourge of the Fleets?
Yeah.
Kindly pick up your team, sir.
And I'll put you at 1.
And that does not tap, though, to attack.
Yeah.
Pegasus gets to untap. There we go. That one does.
There we go.
That one doesn't. That should do it.
Yeah,
there are cards, but
to deal 6.
He's got to get through a 6/6 on top of
exactly.
all that. So, all right, Huey Jensen able to win that race. That was an interesting little study of the Akroan line breaker there. You know, we were wondering about it. I'm not too hot on the card, but we have seen some data maybe that says that it's better, and I've heard some players that I respect say that they like it quite a bit as well. So interesting look at it there. Let's take a look in it. Saito versus Daniel Cicchetti.
So this is pod 2 drafters. They're both sitting on 1 loss, having won the first round.
We saw Cicchetti on camera yesterday. Didn't have much luck with lands, but for the rest of the day, he did quite well. And is that a Nessian Wild Ravager there for Cicchetti? As a 12/12, maybe?
Is it?
Yeah. Saito didn't want his Sun Guide to die, so he's like, sure. Remember, we did see also that Saito's got Portent of Betrayal in his deck. Right now, Cicchetti's tapped out. Nothing like stealing a 12/12. Doesn't have Trample or anything, though. And Portent of Betrayal gets a lot worse when your opponent has an Akroan Mastiff. Even if it's not active this turn, it gets worse and worse. Uh-oh. Oh, don't do it. Oh, he's doing it. Steal it. This is going to at least force a chump block, I'm assuming, right? That's what, 12, 16, 17, 18. That's 20 damage.
It's 20. I'm guessing this is a lethal attack.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one way to deal with Mastiff.
And Cicchetti's got to be super bummed to have to chump block with his Mastiff because
it's
so good there. But he does get to untap with a 12/12.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
Harvest Guard Al-Sayed's there for Cicchetti. You got to wonder if he's just going to try to 2-turn clock him, though, with the big fella there. Actually, it might be more than 2 turns, interestingly, because that Sun Guide may have untapped multiple times and could be at, who knows, 26, 28, something like that. Meanwhile, take 12. And Cicchetti's going to leave back both 2/3s as blockers. 1 card left in hand.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I still rather have a cheap card, but
Saito has the Fearsome Temper, which is active here. He's 1 mana away from being able to activate it twice.
We don't know the life totals, but we suspect Cicchetti is not high. Looks like he's been getting beaten up for a little while. He chump blocked last turn.
Saito still hasn't played that 6th land. That could get him in for 4 damage here if he has it. Either way, Saito's got 8 power.
Right.
And he's doing math.
Can we get the life totals for the match we're watching?
Now we're going to go back to our main match anyway.
Right,
It looks like they're underway here. So let's head back to Alex Masterton versus Huey Jensen. Huey won a squeaker in the first game. And there's Kragma Butcher. Very solid 3-drop. And it's going to be matched by another solid 3-drop, though. You got to give the edge to the Butcher here, especially considering that Alex is in red-white and can have a billion different combat tricks here. He's definitely going to want to get that Kragma Butcher rolling.
Skull Cleaver.
Skull Cleaver.
Probably a safe block. Those 2/3s are likely to bounce. Magleton's attack is mostly so that he can trigger Inspired next turn.
Yeah. Even with one red, you can just have like.
I mean, there are things, not a
coordinated
lot
assault.
of things.
There's a lot of things. I can think of 3 like right now.
Of the things he could have with a red and a white untapped.
Well, sure.
You know, 80% of them go away when you tap the white mana.
I mean,
you're down to just one red.
That is true. But in the meantime, a 4/3 is now battling. And Huey's taking it, so.
Yeah.
Butcher doing work here. No plays for Jensen. He's got 5 mana. He's got to have something. All right, well, he's going to stack up here.
I'll make a 4/5. Vigilance. Attacker. It's not bad.
Not bad at all. It's a little scary.
Do you block? Do you block Butcher?
I do. He's at 12.
Right.
I'm not willing to give up a third of my life total just forever. Like at some point, something's going to have to happen.
Right.
If I'm Huey, maybe I've got a Retraction Helix or something.
Yeah, without having something in my hand that specifically says don't block. The thing is that even if you get a combat trick, you still have your Alseid.
Yeah.
You only lose kind of half that creature.
Oh, chained to the rocks.
Yeah, blocking with a 4/5 is not going to be an option. Yeah, attack with both. I think you have to block Skull Cleaver here.
I think you just trade it off, yeah.
Nope, not. Apparently not.
Well, we don't know what he has in his hand, so.
Right.
Spirit of the Labyrinth here is the follow-up play as Huey's down to 6. Let's see what he does have in his hand, because he's got a grip of cards. He probably has a plan for this turn that involves some type of trick on the Alseid or something along those lines.
Yeah, if he didn't have a plan, he would have traded off Alseid for Skull Cleaver.
He's in a bad spot either way, though.
Uh-huh.
He's going to be facing down 9 power if he doesn't do something here. Retraction Helix is a likely, like that's one reason why you'd want to keep your lone creature alive.
Fair.
Maybe we can see the Hippocamp Retraction Helix plan that we talked about during the draft.
Bounce 2 things?
Yeah. It's thrilling. All right. Huey is going to take the similar play from before, put Nyxborg's Shieldmate bestowed onto the Observant Alseid and attack, leaving himself with 3 mana up. Still a scary spot here, though, for Huey.
3/4 blocker. He almost has to have Retraction Helix. Which does allow him to what? Block the, eat the Spirit, bounce the Kragmaw Butcher, take 2?
Yeah. Exactly.
If he has the Retraction Helix that we're putting him on?
Correct.
Yeah, Malishlan, just send him in. I mean, what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
There's a block on Spirit, so that's lethal damage. Clearly, Huey's got something.
Yeah, Alex has to do nothing here other than say, pass priorite. Right. And there's the Helix.
All right, that resolves. Bounce Butcher. Now, Jensen going to take 2.
Ooh, rise to the challenge. That's going to make that 5 power first strike.
Oh, hold it, Bay!
Take that, Alex Magleton. No damage there. And that was actually just a beating, that Hold It Bay.
Yeah.
It was a 2-for-1.
Pretty much.
All right. So Huey has all the tricks he needs, and Alex, though, does have Huey down to 4 with 2 creatures on the battlefield at a pretty high life total, so a lot can go right here for Magleton. You know, combat tricks get better. Burn spells are a big factor here, potentially. a Crowan line breaker can be a big deal, though at this stage of the game, it's not amazing on its ability. It's just sure, but I'm assuming he can't target it, or else probably would have just won that turn. Instead, though, he just gets a 2-1 body, so he just gets to turn all his guys sideways and kill Huey potentially on the next turn if Huey doesn't come up with something. So
it does make all future combat tricks lethal, even should Huey spill out a bunch of blockers.
True. Yeah, I think that's its best role, is like a reach type card.
It's no Blade Tusk Boar, but
right. Huey attacks for 3, and he's found his Phalanx leader a little bit late here, but it'll do just fine as a blocker on that Akroan line breaker if Alex cannot find a way to target it. So Huey barely hanging on. He's been chipping away, though. Alex is down to 7. Here's a 4-drop. Wow, Dawnbringer Charioteers for Alex Majleton. That's a big one. No flyers currently for Huey Jensen. He draws his card for the turn and puts the hands on the head. Into the tank we go.
Wow, that's not a scoop.
Truth. Neurons are firing.
Yeah, Huey's not a guy who pauses for long thinks very often.
Stratus Walk.
Okay.
Is going to grow that thing, make it so that it can't block the creatures on the ground, but that it can block the Charioteers.
Right. And I think this card draw is also important.
This is huge.
Probably needs another creature.
I mean, he's dead on board otherwise.
Right.
Attack with Observant Alseid.
Majleton's quietly down to 7. This is 4. But I mean, he can't get +3 here, can he?
No, not realistically.
I mean, 2 tricks could do it.
2 tricks, but... And Huey passes
And
the turn back. So this is a big question. Does Alex Majleton move in?
He has to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he moves into chump block mode. I mean, I think I would attack with everybody even without a trick, and now,
but Huey says, hold.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's lethal. That makes 4 power intimidate guy.
Right.
So he has to have some trick to deal with it. So he'll do that.
Last breath.
That's a good one. It fizzles the Dragon Mantle too, which means no card draw.
No card draw.
Does give Majleton 4 life.
Wow, that was a huge, huge swing though, because Huey, he was dead there without that.
Yep.
Charioteers are pretty free to attack here as a Phalanx leader is only a 2-2.
Right.
It's the only thing that can block it currently. That's going to bump Huey down to 2 and Alex back up to 9.
Yep.
Ooh, this is close. Big draw step here for Huey. What was it? What was it? I think it was the Stormwise Fortifier.
Huh.
Is that good enough? I mean, does he just end up having to chump with the Phalanx leader? He's got tons of mana available. It feels like the Dawnbringer Charioteer is normally awesome because of all of its extra abilities. It's really just the flying that's going to be a big problem for Huey here.
Right.
He's going to attack with his Observant Alseid, play the Fortifier, and say go. He's got enough mana to activate it, but I think he's going to have to chump here with his Phalanx leader this turn and
then draw an answer.
And then draw an answer or lose.
The life gain from the last breath was kind of relevant. I mean, he obviously needed to have it, but
yeah. And there we go.
Made this race a lot harder.
All right, this is
a
big one.
Are you an answer to a flyer?
Does this thing fly? No. Couple of lands in hand.
Do not fly.
And we're going to see a tank out from Huey here. He's going to attack first and at least make Alex make the attack, but Alex will definitely do it.
Alex trying to figure out if he can afford to go to 4 here. If he's all in on that flyer anyway, then maybe a chump block's called for.
Yeah, this is, I think, the point where Alex feels like he's on the verge of winning the game, and he needs to figure out what are the ways I can lose this game.
Right.
Like, what if Huey has, he's got 2 cards, what if he has double Battle-Wise Valor? Do I lose that game? You know, what are the chances he has that? Is it worth it? He does not block and just attacks for the win. And we're going to get a game 3 here.
We are.
Properly close game there.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one.
Let's look over at Saito, who won that first game versus Cicchetti. And has now, we got a nice little curve out here. I got to say, I like Cicchetti's side of the battlefield here, though, just at first glance. A Kron Mastiff keeping the flyer at bay, and a 3-3 and a 1-4. Pretty good. Whoa, that
like
might
Saito's
change
side of the board
things.
now.
Though
Although
the Kron Mastiff is still going to basically nullify that dragon.
Also, the Ajani in Cicchetti's hand may be relevant as well.
Oh my goodness.
He has some heroes. They need to be mentored.
But you know what? He needs to wait until he can leave white mana up so that he can activate his Kron Mastiff, I think. I don't think he wants to just run it out there, and he's a mana short right now. A little awkward.
It'd be more awkward if he didn't have the Acrylic Mastiff.
Agree. All right. Oakheart Dryads is going to target our old friend Heliod's Emissary, which is going to attack as 4-4. It's going to get in for 4 as well. Pretty nice for Cicchetti. He's also got that Nylea's presence, so down the line he can actually activate Scholar of Athreos. Probably brought that in out of the board against Saito's very aggressive deck.
Yeah, 1-4 for 3. It's relevant. If your opponent shows up with something as aggressive as what Saito's got, go look at your sideboard.
Yeah, pull out some random 5 or 6 drop that isn't going to be good against him. Okay, Eagle the Watch, though, is now freed from the tyranny of that Akron Mastiff and gets to start attacking. But Mastiff, as long as it's alive, is doing huge work here for Cicchetti. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he draws a land to see him put some of the counters on the Mastiff itself to get it out of burn range.
Sure.
Because obviously Saito doesn't have it now. He doesn't have, you know, a Magma Jet, Lightning Strike, something like that. But if he draws one, this game's going to end quickly because that dragon's just going to take over. All right, Heliod's Emissary hits the red zone yet again. Tapping down the Hoplite and prompting Saito to take 3 damage. And Cicchetti's got Oresco's Swiftclaw to follow up. So even though he hasn't found that 1 extra mana to be able to play his Ajani and have the activation, oh no. This is huge.
Wow.
Glimpse the Sun God is going to get it's going to get a counter, it's going to gain him 2 life, but most importantly, it's going to tap that Akron Mastiff.
Which is going to free the dragon up to attack and kill
just
some
mow
things.
some stuff down. If Saito has 1 more land in hand, he can do 4 damage.
Yeah, he's currently sitting on 3.
Which is just destructive.
Which is still, it's Mastiff plus Swiftclaw.
3 is really what matters
3
here
activations,
anyway.
yeah, I'm not sure the 4th activation matters.
Yeah. Wow, huge play from Saito. And why don't we head back over? You want to stay here?
Can we see 1 turn?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go back to our main one. I don't want to get too far behind on this one. There's a lot of tempo plays here.
That's fair.
So turn 2, Phalanx Leader. Again, it's probably his best card, but it's not great on turn 2 on its own. He does need to build out his board a little to make it good. But no fear from Huey. Just runs it out there anyway. Alex has no board yet. 3rd land's hit, and he's just going to pass turn back. Oh, geez. And that's fine on its own, but it's really a harbinger of very horrible things for Mashlaton. The next creature Huey plays is going to bounce that thing back to his hand, and things get out of hand quite quickly. Oh no, is this fire breathing?
Kill it?
Are we fire breathing too?
So Phalanx
Are we
Leader
gonna
going
do
to get
it?
a Dragon Mantle?
You got to do it sometimes.
I mean,
Alex knows.
He has 3 mountains. He has no other mana. He has no plains. If he doesn't have a drop, yeah, sometimes you got to do it. No, he could play.
He's got a Skull Cleaver there.
Yeah.
That's more like it. Skull Cleaver gets in there. Now here's the big one. Does Huey have a creature here? If he has land 2 drop, it's really nasty for Alex, who's now tapped out. Does he have it? Play a land.
I keep seeing spells. I saw Battle-Wise Valor. I see Retraction Helix. Not sure what else is in there.
She seems quite good against Alex's land situation. Is she's going to be bigger than all the red. Yeah, main phase in it. I think this is main phase. This isn't upkeep, right?
Oh, funny.
Sometimes you do this during your upkeep if you really need something
Set
specific.
up your draw phase.
Yeah.
I think it's main phase.
I think it is too. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6 damage now.
Yeah.
Drop Alex Majleton down to 10. And I think that thing's pretty safely out of burn range.
Yeah.
At least close. I guess not. It's only 4/4, so there are cards that can hit it still.
But it'll take like a conflagration or something. It's out of. There are no. Rage of Purpose.
There's Rage of Purpose.
There's still comments. There aren't any good comments that hit it.
No. Starfalls left in the dust. Magma Jet, Magma Spray, Lightning Strike.
Once you get out of
Bolt of Keranos,
like
those are all
exactly.
left in the dust.
Most of the good ones steal 2 or 3.
Yeah. All right, so no white mana for Majleton that I can see, but I think he's got Ray of Dissolution.
Yeah, so he does.
So that down the line, William doesn't get to just go off, but he's got way more pressing issues than that.
He's got Fanatic Emojis. He can deal some damage. He's got a Blade Tusk Boar, I think.
He's got a decent draw here. It's just
he's losing the race.
A lot of pressure. So gets in for 2. That's the easy part.
Yeah.
Now what? Blade Tusk Boar?
Yeah.
Interesting. He's going to actually go with the Fanatic. It gives him 1 extra point of power, which he would have gotten the damage from if he played it next turn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So there's 4 more in the air, dropping Alex down, and here we go.
Yeah, there's the creature.
Next turn, it's going to get real ugly. So 2 mana left up for Huey, though. Quite a few cards you can have in this situation as well.
I don't know how many of them he actually has, but even Retraction Helix can give him a +1/+1 counter in a pinch.
Yeah.
Although he won't be able to tap a creature to bounce something. I think Triton's going to block. Like, he just blocks Skullcleaver here, right?
Now, I think we're going to see the Dragon Mantle on it, so it changes it a little bit here.
True.
Dragon Mantle resolves. Draws a
Spark Jolt?
Spark Jolt. A little late.
Yeah.
Phalanx Leader's like, too late, pal. You ever Spark Jolted a Phalanx Leader? One of the best feelings in the world.
Is Jensen really at 12? Can we double check that life total?
It seems right-ish. He took 2 from the Fanatic Amogus, he took 2 from the Skullcleaver, and he took 4 from the Skullcleaver. So that's 8. That's 8. All right, there's a block and a pump. And is there a trick? A Johnny's Presence. And he's actually got to think about what he wants to target. I mean, if he targeted the Phalanx Leader, he could Alex could just dump more mana into it and kill it. All right, and here's Follow the Hammer, and there is Retraction Helix for Huey. That is going to bring it just out of range. It's not going to get to bounce anything here, but Huey had that scripted beautifully. And Alex says, I don't have anything else. You got me. And that's the game. It's also the match. Huey Jensen wins 2-1.
Nice match.